to today's episode of Conversations with Karen and Kat. I'm Karen Scott Green.
And I'm Kat Hardrick.
And we are here today with Carol Love, Executive Director of Family Promise of Gwinnett. Welcome, Carol.
Yay.
Thank
Finally,
you,
girl,
ladies.
finally got you on, girl. You are a busy
know.
woman.
Hey, it just, it happens when it's supposed to happen. And it just seems like life gets in the way a lot of the times. But I know that y'all are doing good stuff, just like Family Promise of Gwinnett is doing good stuff. So I'm glad we can finally have this conversation.
That's right.
We are so excited to talk to you and about the work that you're doing, that Family Promise is doing in Gwinnett County and the families that you're helping. So tell our listeners and viewers about Family Promise of Gwinnett and the work that you and your organization are doing.
Yeah, thank you. Family Promise of Gwinnett, our mission is to mobilize communities and congregations to help end homelessness one family at a time. And we've been operating in Gwinnett County since 2004. And we have done an innovative approach until COVID happened, where we used to partner with churches and they would take our families in and house them for a week and kind of do a mobile shelter. Gwinnett County did not allow for a mobile shelter. They did not allow for a shelter until 2018. And we've been operating kind of in an innovative way through churches and helping serve families who are experiencing homelessness. And I'll kind of tell you a little bit what happened after COVID, but just to give you a little more background, we serve families with children. We promise to keep families together while they are experiencing homelessness. They have to be living in Gwinnett County. And one special thing about us is that we take boys into our program who are ages 18 and under, where if someone was experiencing homelessness, most shelters do not take boys in under the age of 13. So as I said, we're working on keeping the families together. They come in to our program. It's a 30 to 90 day program where we help our families make money, save money, and find housing. And it is amazing to see what a family can do in 90 days. We have this wonderful facility called Promise Haven where churches come on a local mission trip to offer hospitality to the families we serve. And we believe that it takes a community, and we use a community-based response to help families out of that crisis of homelessness into self-sufficiency. And so we just have an amazing program that really transforms lives. And I'm excited to answer any questions that you have about it, but that's a brief overview because it is a very robust program that I could go into detail about, but I'll let y'all ask any questions that you'd like.
Okay, so outside of working with congregations, do you have an opportunity for individuals to come or other organizations like sororities and fraternities to be able to help volunteers, spend their time, and how would you be able to use them?
Absolutely. The beautiful thing about us is we have 365 days a year where we need volunteers. And yes, we partner with congregations, but one of the great things is we also work with community volunteers to get them plugged into serving the weeks that the congregation serves. So we're an overnight shelter program. So we call ourselves a program, and then the means to our program is our overnight shelter. So we need volunteers from 6 p.m. To 8:30 p.m. during the week. And then we even have overnight volunteer needs on Friday and Saturday where people can come in and just rest and be that gift of presence and just staff, kind of our volunteer staff oversight during the night. So our program is called a hospitality program, and we call the volunteers host and the families that we serve guest. And so any individual or sorority group can sign up for a training to be an evening host or an overnight host. An evening host basically just operates, as I said, a volunteer staff member comes in from 6 p.m. They open the facility and they're there till 8:30 p.m., just making sure everything runs smooth that evening, and just making sure the families are doing all right. And then one great way for sororities and community volunteers to just get plugged in is to be a dinner host. So we provide a hot meal every night, and we ask that volunteers in the community will cook a nice hot meal. If you don't have time to cook it, you can pick it up from somewhere and bring it, and you can either just drop the meal off, or you can stay and eat with our families and just have conversation and encouragement while you're there. And that one is, sign up for it. If you're going to spend time with our with our families that night, we just ask that you watch our volunteer training just so that you can understand what we're doing. But it is a way that you can say, you can contact our community engagement director, Mitzi Fountain, just say, hey, we want to do this. We want to provide a meal on XYZ day. And can you get us plugged in? And she'll do her best to get you plugged in with the congregation. Sometimes we don't, we are rebuilding our program. And so summertime is a time where we don't always have congregations signed up for a week. So that's when we really pull from our community volunteers to kind of fill that gap. And, we get community volunteers trained. And so we really want to try to make sure that they're in there plugged in, not waiting too long before they serve again. So, and then also our overnight volunteers. That's actually a hard position to get, but I like to say it's a great date night. It's a great girls' night out. We have a wonderful volunteer bedroom that people can use, and we just think it's kind of the easiest volunteer position. But another opportunity is being a day host. And we have people come out on Saturdays. Saturdays is a day where they're able to stay all day just to get some chores done, laundry, whatever they may need, and to kind of come and go. And so as a day host, you again provide a gift of presence to be able to let the families do what they may need to do, stay at the house all day or run errands and come back. So then we have, opportunities for service projects. So always loving to make anything more beautiful, coming and doing a deep clean at one of our facilities, or making our gardens beautiful, or just, doing a drive for us, any kind of drive. Like we constantly need toilet paper and paper towels. When you're serving up to 11 individuals, that's how many people we can serve. We can serve 3 families at a time. But when you're serving that many people, you can imagine how much toilet paper and paper towels we're going through, and Lysol wipes and all that good stuff. So.
Yeah, so you gave us a lot. I have a couple questions. One, the contact information for Miss Fountain, if you could please provide that so our listeners can have that.
Yeah, so her name is Mitzi Fountain. That's MITZI. And her email is mfountain, like FOUNTAIN, at familypromisegwinnett.org. And you can also call our offices at 678-376-8950.
And say that one more time.
678-376-8950.
You got folks writing this stuff down, girl, while they're out here listening. So we got to go a little slow. Let our folks write all this stuff down.
That's good. I realized I did that fast. I typically, when I do leave voicemails, I do the number twice, and I do try to do a little slower. So,
yeah. And so you touched on so many things. You need toilet tissue, because I know like COVID even showed us how much we take for granted of the little things like toilet paper, Lysol wipes, toothpaste, and so forth. So you basically need care products, hygiene products. I'm sure a lot about anything, but primarily you said the toilet tissue, and what else you need?
Yeah, so toilet tissue, paper towels. If you're going to do general donations, Those two items, we always need gas cards. We like to have people do gas card drives, as well as like Walmart or Kroger cards. Walmart cards are good just in case someone needs to buy some clothing for themselves. We've had people come into the program that had to leave everything and needed kind of those basics, just underwear, underwear, socks, all that good stuff. We do have a list on Amazon that shows what we need. One of the things that we had created that we haven't had take off yet, but we're wanting to promote more, is adopting a family for a week. So when a family comes in, everybody probably has that certain deodorant that you use, that certain toothpaste that you use that works best for your body. And so we try to do our best in providing the needs that they have. So kind of focusing on that hospitality aspect, some sort of hair care product. Again, we do this because remember, we're make money, save money, find housing. So when a family comes into our program, our goal is to, they're not paying room, they're not paying board. And we want them to save all of that money so that when they come out of the program, they'll have $2,000 to $5,000 that are saved up. And then we also want to provide the needs that we can. And just so that the rest of that goes, into savings or paying down debt. And we have some really fantastic congregations that take care of those things. But we are looking for, so a great thing for sororities or businesses is like, hey, let's adopt the families this week and see what they may need. They need size 5 diapers. We're going to go out and get size 5 diapers, because we have different people in our program at all times. But remember, they may be up there up to 90 days. And so any way that we can provide for those needs while they're in there, and then we hold them accountable to the savings and stuff, that is a benefit in transforming someone's life.
So how do people enroll? How do you get to the citizens that you're helping through your program? Is there an organization that they go through to come into your program? Is there an intake process? Could you explain that?
Yeah, there is an intake process that we use. There is a place called Home First Gwinnett that people typically in need will go to, and they can get an assessment there. And the Home First Gwinnett will kind of refer them out to different organizations that could help them. We're on that list, but we're able to screen our families ourselves. So we have an assessment that they take online to see if they are eligible for a program. Also, it's not just Home First Gwinnett. 211 United Way has our information, as well as lots of churches and different organizations. The Gwinnett Coalition has our information as well. So people can find out about us there. But I will tell you, typically, if someone is in need, they do have access. Most of the families we serve and we've seen have cell phone data, and they're going to Google. And we're one of the first ones that pop up if they're looking for a shelter in Gwinnett County. So what we'll do is we have them fill out an assessment online. To be able to be a part of our program, you do have to have a car. You have to be willing and able to work. You can come into our program without a job, but again, it's that making money aspect. And you have to have a child who is ages 18 and under, going to Gwinnett County schools and living in Gwinnett.
So what happens?
God.
What happens to the woman who has to leave in the middle of the night, who doesn't have transportation because her partner or her husband, it's a domestic violence situation, and she has kids that are younger than school age? Can Family Promise help her?
So we do 18 and under is what we take. If they're school age children, they just have to be in Gwinnett County schools, but we take, all the way, we've had the youngest kid that we've had in the last year is 3 months old. So we do take all ages of children. We do not take families that are fleeing domestic violence. We're just not set up for that. We are not domestic violence shelters. They have an undisclosed location, and we work with volunteers that aren't trained in kind of dealing with any kind of domestic violence issue where a spouse or partner may be coming after a family. Again, we are a program, so we go through an interview process. You have to do a screening. We're not an emergency shelter. And so this is specifically going through a screening, got to do a drug test and a background check. If somebody is fleeing domestic violence, there is a domestic violence hotline out there, as well as another shelter in the county called Partnership Against Domestic Violence. If they call the domestic violence hotline, they can give out information to other shelters that might not be located in Gwinnett County, but do take people fleeing domestic violence. So there's shelters down in Savannah that are open to anybody that are fleeing. Unfortunately, if they don't have a car, our organization is not able to help them. I know that there is Home of Hope that is up in Beaufort that sometimes takes in families without transportation, but at this time we're not able to do that.
And the reason that they have to have transportation is because you want to help people get back on their feet, try to have transportation to go for a job and so forth.
That's right. That's one of the reasons. We're just not able to, like, we're close to a bus line, but the bus line just isn't very beneficial. And at this point, we just don't, we're looking into potentially being able to do some sort of Uber or Lyft ride stuff, but that's just not, we're not able to do that at this time. But part of it is it's an overnight shelter. And so to be able to get to where you need to get, families do have to leave at 7:30 in the morning, but we do have a day center, which is where they can come to do job search, or if they don't have somewhere to go, like on a Sunday or whatnot. But they always have a place over their head. Our day center is open to our families from 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Whenever Promise Haven is not available.
Okay. You had mentioned training earlier. How long is the training for volunteers?
I think Mitzi typically does it in an hour and a half. And she does a Zoom training once a month, and she also does an in-person training. And she does that at Promise Haven, which is the home the name of the home that the families stay at.
And if we wanted to provide dinner for a family, should we be providing dinner for the 11 persons that you're able to serve, or is it just for one family, or is it for all three families?
It's for all three families. It's for the 11 individuals, and just remember the different ages. So if we have like a lot of 6-year-olds and under, it's not going to be a huge amount that they're eating. You also provide it for volunteers. So you would find out from Mitzi how many people are at Promise Haven that evening, and then if you're going to stay and eat, think about you and your serving, and then as well as the volunteers.
Okay.
So I'm not a cooker, so I definitely would get my stuff from Publix, girl. Look.
I am not that much of a cooker either. Yes, it'd be Friday night pizza night. That's what I would do.
That's right. You know, Carol, what drove you to this space personally, to be a public servant, to be in this arena? You know, when I spoke to you, and, you know, because we've been trying to get you on the show for a minute now, right? Because the work that you guys are doing is so impactful. But what personally drove you to this space to be a woman to serve the community as you're doing now?
Do you want the long story?
Give it to us. Yeah, tell us. Give us the tea, honey. Give us the tea.
You know, I will tell you, I was a lost adolescent, one of those little rebellious kids. Had no idea what I wanted to do in life. It took me 7 years to graduate college, and I got an accounting degree because I knew I could make decent money. And I knew that, death and taxes is always around, right? So I got a job at Ernst Young, which is a Big Four accounting firm, did some forensic accounting. Are you familiar with accounting, Kat? Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
My background is finance, and I used to work for EY, girl. So yay to EY.
Years were you there?
Oh, girl, you telling my age. No, look.
Okay, don't worry about that. I
used to work in Chicago at EY, and then I transferred here to Atlanta in the B of A building, and then when they opened up their own facility. So there you go.
That's when I was there. So I was at B of A. I started 2005 and left in 2009. So I was at B of A, and then I went to the new building. I was in the forensic accounting.
I was in state and local tax.
Crazy.
Get out of here.
Well, yes, I love it. Look how God just combined our worlds together. I love that. So I was there until 2009, and I couldn't believe I made all these rounds of layoffs. And, the recession was happening, and I ended up going, because I was in the marketing for the financial advisory services group. And finally, in December of 2009, I was laid off. And I like to say I was kicked out because I had a heart to serve. I knew I didn't like accounting, but I didn't know how to get into what I wanted to do. And I really didn't know what it was. And I was unemployed for a little over a year and trying to figure out, do I want to do sales and marketing? Do I want to open a bakery? Do I want to do fundraising? Just so many different things. And I had a lot of informational interviews. But the biggest thing that I did was I volunteered at the Norcross Cooperative Ministry, which is now the Neighborhood Cooperative Ministry. And when I went into that, I just was kind of at a place, when you're unemployed, you question your skills. You're going through a little bit of a depression, and you're just not sure of your capabilities. And I came in and I was just like, I'll sort food, I'll do clothing, I'll sort whatever you need. And the executive director, Shirley Cape, saw something in me. And she's like, I'm going to put you with the families. And so I started doing intake with them and started running one of their grant programs just as a volunteer, and got my feet wet and really just had a heart for the homeless and for those in need. And so from there, I got the executive director suggested me for a position at Must Ministries, which is located in Cobb. And Must Ministries ran a program called the Summer Lunch Program. And they were looking for someone to expand the program into Gwinnett County. And the executive director said, I think you can do this. And I was like, are you sure? And she said, yeah. And so I applied for that and I got it. That was just a summer job. I kind of went from making some good money at Ernst Young to, $13 an hour, right? And it was a summer job, but it was a job. And then the opportunity to come to Family Promise of Gwinnett for my first time here to open their Salt Light Center, which is an emergency shelter for single women and women with children. And I did that and just really was able to kind of dive even deeper into helping women move forward and encourage them when it seems like a low and it seems like you're never going to be able to get past unemployment, past not having a home, and enjoyed that. And then I left to have my son in 2014 and worked from home until he went to kindergarten. And in August of 2019, the Lord led me back to Family Promise of Gwinnett as their executive director and to kind of help pivot what we do here. The reason I do what I do is I've been through a lot in life. I've been through times of discouragement, and, you know, go through a divorce, being a single mom. And I just love to encourage women that where they are right now, what their circumstances are right now is not what the future is for them, and be able to identify the obstacles and help change the thinking that they have and give them the tools and resources to move forward. That accounting background, girl, I am all about budgets. When they come into this program, you know, they're number one, if they're not employed, doing 5 job searches a day, first working on their resume and then really looking into the 5 job searches a day. They're even doing housing searches in the beginning. And that's so that they can see how much it costs to live in Gwinnett County and what kind of pay do I need if I'm going to stay in this county, you know? And, you know, let's do a budget for right now while you're in the program, and then let's do a budget for your future, you know? So we're constantly doing budgeting every week while they're in the program, because the key to being able to be self-sufficient is managing your money well. And we see so many different women come through the program in different places in life. So I'll let you ask your questions. I know I talked a lot.
Look, girl, because you know, it is, you hit a couple things in my head. The first, so many of us, we doubt ourselves. You know, when we get overwhelmed, and like you said, when you lose your job or you feel like you get kicked out or whatever the case may be, we go into a space where we're saying, well, I don't know if I'm enough. And when you said other people had to tell you, you want to go for this job, and you're like, really, I can do, you know, that's what I heard you say. Like, you didn't even think that you could actually do that. And here it is right now, God putting you everything that you needed. And sometimes we get hit with obstacles that we lose faith in ourselves. Yeah. And that's why it's so important for we as women, and no slight on men, but we as women, we need to help uplift and empower one another. And it's no more empowerment for me than to have financial soundness.
Absolutely.
Because no one can take that away from you. And I always like to be empowered. Mm-hmm. If you come and change my tire, show me what you're doing so that I can at least know what the other person should be doing, even if I'm not the person changing my tire.
And you know? And I love, Carol, that Family Promise is giving these women the skills and the tools so that they can navigate, figure out, what can I afford? Mm-hmm. What kind of job will I need? Mm-hmm. And is this something that I can do? And where can I live?
Because
realistically.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can say, oh, I want to live in Gwinnett. But if you don't have a car, if you don't have the job that can afford these homes that are skyrocketing in Gwinnett, then you really need to think about that. Do you need to live someplace where there's a bus line and so forth? So yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. And more than likely, they're not going to be able to afford anything in Gwinnett if they don't have a skill or a trade or an education that would allow them to be able to afford living in this ever-increasing cost of living county that we're in.
Yeah. It is difficult. And so one beneficial thing that we also offer at Family Promise is not just Promise Haven, our shelter program. We partner with other churches that offer us kind of those old parsonages that are on their houses that we can use on their locations that we can use as a transitional house. And so we have one operating right now. We are in the process of getting a second one. And so we can move families out of Promise Haven into our transitional house where they are paying a program fee, and we're able to continue to help them save, but then focus on even getting their credit score up so that they can afford an apartment. But the rates are sky high. I'm excited because a new partnership is coming up between Family Promise and NAMAR, which is a real estate association. and they're participating in our bed race, which we'll talk about later. But realtors know what's happening. And there's some realtors that are connected with property, with leasing properties and our property managers. I have one girl that I'm working with from Faith Realty, and, she does basement apartments. And, you can get a basement apartment for $1,200, which includes rent and utilities. But honestly, it's still pretty difficult when you're a single mom. And, I have a manager in the program right now that it's still really tight to live. She's a manager at a company, and, trying to pay for everything and pay for food, which is outrageous in and of itself right now. There's this thing called the cliff effect, and I don't know if you've heard it, but you make too much money and then you lose all your benefits. Mm-hmm. So we're finding that hard for our families because they're not making enough money to, $350 budget used to work well. But we do come up with resources for our families to supplement. Maybe they do have a $350 budget for food, but go to the co-ops, go to Streetwise in Gwinnett County, who we have a partnership, go to Let 'em Eat. Figure out where you can go and find churches that do the food giveaways and stuff. And then this is a way to supplement that. And then also our families, they're wanting to make sure they can sustain. Some of them, sign up with Amazon. They may even do DoorDash and stuff on the weekends to help, with that gap. And they are innovative in how they're trying to be able to afford their own apartment or home at some point, But yes, affordable housing is a major crisis. So we did also start a new program where we have funding to help put our families into an apartment. And so if they're ready for some market rate rent, what we do is we're wanting to taper them off of our full services at Promise Haven. So we're going to pay for their rent for the first 2 or 3 months. And then their expectation is to save that amount so they can increase or pay off debt. And then we're going to continue to work with them for like 2 weeks. 2 weeks a month, they'll go meet with our social worker, and she'll hold them accountable to their spending and make sure that they're keeping up with their goals. And so we're coming up with ways that we're wanting to be able to move our families forward, but we don't want to get them into a place where they can't sustain without support, So we're trying to taper them off to where, okay, let me figure out how I can manage this grocery budget. Let me figure out, how they can manage the toiletries and stuff. So.
Oh, it's so important, like what you said. I love talking to you. I'm just like, I got a ton of questions. One point, and I was listening to my radio this morning, a lot of people didn't talk about budgets. And I'm sure you're probably experiencing people who just do not know how to budget their money.
A lot of schools don't teach budgeting.
Well, a lot of homes don't teach budgeting because a lot of topics, money was off the table. Yeah. Like, you don't need to know how much money I make. Well, I don't need to know how much money you make, but I do need to have an idea so that when I go out as a young adult, I can be realistic. Mm-hmm. And so here it is, I'm sure, because I know even working at NY and working other places, period, people really do not know how to budget their money. And then their thought is, I can afford this $1,600 rent, but dude, you don't even make enough to even afford just $1,600. Or you get these high-end vehicles, right? It might be nice, but what about the maintenance if you got to change a tire and it's $800 or $200 for an oil change? I mean, these are the types of things that we literally have to dial back and be compassionate and empathetic to people who are adults now, and they just don't know how to do that. So I love the fact of how you're teaching a budget, giving them the support that they need, that we all need, to slowly get into the space where you can do this all by yourself.
Teaching them how to fish.
Right. You don't just give the fish, you teach them how to fish. You're absolutely right. And not making people feel embarrassed. It's okay to say, you know what, sis, I have no idea what I'm doing. And we need to be give people the power, the light, and the support to be able to say, I need help. I've been doing this a long time. I got kids. I'm 40, 50, whatever age, but what I'm doing isn't working. I need help. And that's what I'm hearing that you guys are doing with your organization. You're not only empowering people, but you're giving them that village that they need to say, I need help and it's okay. We're going to shine love on you and empower you and help you get to that. And we're not going to leave you either.
And in light of all of that, I know that beyond having volunteers, Family Promise needs money. So let's get into fundraising and ways that the community can support Family Promise beyond volunteering, because that's important too, but you need money to run.
My girl dives right on in, don't she?
Girl, and thank you for that, because that is one of the things that we need. We have an awesome fundraising event coming up on April 22nd. It is at the Lawrenceville Square, and it is called it's our 12th annual bed race. And this is an event that is not like no other. So we have teams sign up, and they build a bed on wheels and they race it around the square for bragging rights and a beautiful trophy, just to bring awareness and about the issue of family homelessness and to raise funds. So we're still in need of teams, but we have about 20 teams compete, and you decorate your bed and you get 5 people to be on a team, 4 pushing the bed and 1 riding the bed. And you just get out there and have a good time. You know, if you're not going to be on the bed, come to the bed race. You know, we have raffles this year, giving away a lot of gift cards to restaurants and companies on Lawrenceville Square in the city of Lawrenceville. We also have a great raffle for an e-bike. I believe we're going to be able to get one of those. And just come out, and it's a family fun event. We're excited because 104.7 The Fish is going to be out there this year, and just getting our name out. And so we'd love to have you come down there, buy some tickets to vote for your favorite and most creative bed, and just to cheer on these teams. And then that's going to be a great event. If you're a business and you want to sponsor, I still have a week for you to get in. And you can call and ask me any questions that you might want to, just to make sure our missions align. One great thing, it's a good thing for sororities and fraternities to get out there. So if you don't have enough time this year, next year, mobilizing your sorority or your church, it's a great, fun team building activity as well. So that's coming up on Saturday, April 22nd. Get out there around 10 o'clock. And you can start voting for your beds and participating in that raffle. We have a parade of the beds where they walk around the square. And so that starts at 10:30, and then our race starts at 11. So great time, should be a lot of fun. No, it will be a lot of fun. Another way that is really good, we have our event called Night Without a Bed. And it is where you sign up to be willing to sleep without a bed and raise funds for Family Promise of Gwinnett. You think of Susan B. Corman walks, where they have their 3-day walk to help end breast cancer or bring breast cancer awareness. And you sign up to raise funds to participate in the walk. That's kind of similar for us. And Night Without a Bed is where you're willing to sign up to sleep without a bed. We give you a goal of $500. And once you reach that goal, your friends and family help you reach it. You know, it's one of those networking fundraisers. You sign up to be the fundraiser to do that. Once you reach that goal, you've helped us reach a goal of providing a bed for a child. So I'm going to let you sleep in your bed. So it's your choice. You can either sleep in solidarity with us, the board and staff participate that, and sleeping in unity with families who are experiencing homelessness one night a year. We do that the month of August. We kick it off August 1st. And then you come to our day center for our cookout on August 26th. And it's a karaoke benefit concert is what I like to say. I love karaoke. And so it's just bringing a bunch of people together and just to have a good time, and thank the people that are signing up to fundraise and even bringing your friends and family just to have a good time. And then we have our Stripers game on May 5th. The Stripers are sponsoring us, and they are selling tickets. I think they're about $15 a ticket, and we get a portion of that. And that's a great way to come out and just have some good fun with your family as well. So those are the events that we do. But we are always in need of funding. You know, we're actually pretty low budget. I'll tell you, our budget is about $380 and $380,000, and any amount, like if you can help us reach that, you know, we're working with a lot of volunteers that they provide $300,000 in services themselves. And so we can just use your help in reaching that goal so that we can continue our program.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have a lot of great opportunities here to volunteer. And I love the bed idea. The night without a bed, and making the bed in the town square. But I've heard of other people doing that as well, where you get together and they actually sleep. They pick an area and they sleep outside, like camping and whatnot. But, you know, you actually sleep without a bed. So that's a really good idea, because sometimes people really don't know the impact of not having a warm bed and shelter.
And folks can find out about these programs at familypromisegwinnett.org. Is that right?
That's right. You got it.
Okay. And is the phone number 678-376-8950?
That's right. And I'll even give you guys my cell phone if you want to put that out. It's always the best way to get in touch with me. But we do have, you can always call our office line.
Okay. All right.
And then if you're looking, if you want to find out more about events, definitely reach out to me. Mitzi Fountain is definitely going to be that one that'll help you get plugged into volunteering. And we like to say, we want to use your time, talent, and treasure. You know, volunteer your time. And if you have a talent at doing public relations and doing fundraising and events and technology, oh my goodness, I need a volunteer to help me with technology, or facilities, you're a handyman, you know, we can use you on one of our committees. And so using that talent that God has given you. Oh yeah, in our finance committee, Kat, I'm going to get you on our finance committee. And then also as a board member, you know, we're looking for people to be ambassadors for our organization, and we have opportunities to join our board.
Awesome.
Absolutely. It is always a pleasure talking to you, girl. You always drop nuggets. I really appreciate it. We finally got you on so we can share with our listeners all the great things that you guys are doing. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much. I just appreciate it, and being able to get our the information about Family Promise out there, as well as encouraging other people. And you're right, like we need to empower each other. Everyone is going to have a bad day, and everyone is going to get overwhelmed. And if we don't have one another to get us through those humps, for me to get my eyes focused on Jesus and trusting him and where he's put me today, he always comes through at the right time for us, and he's always right on time. And I just try to remember that the Lord directs my steps, and that he is wanting to be the one that is glorified in all that we do. And just encourage you guys to keep on going. And thank y'all for doing what you do and wearing your orange and blue. I wish it was red and black for UGA, but you guys have chosen Auburn colors, and that's okay. No. I love it. I love your blue and orange. And I bless you guys, and y'all are going to do something just great for the community. Continue to do things great for the community.
Amen. We receive that, sister. Amen. We receive it. Thank you so very much.
Yes. And you have given us the perfect ending, because when you start talking about the timeliness of God and him being on time and always, you know,
orchestrating our steps, baby.
there's nothing else we can say after that.
Honey.
Other than thank you for joining us with in this episode of Conversations with Karen and Kat.
Well, we are impacting the world one conversation at a time.